for watching us here on Tiki Talkie, and we're
I
gonna.
think we just went live.
Oh, really? Whoops. Oh, YouTube. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know. So I feel like
Let me see.
I should. I don't. Like I said, first time I've ever done this.
Fair enough. Yeah, you are. It says you're
On
live.
YouTube?
Yeah, man. I can see.
Cool.
You.
What's the latency on it?
A little bit.
Oh, cool. Well, alrighty.
I like the opening though. It's cool. It's time you believe in you. That's cool.
Oh yeah, is that my
Cover.
Did it just select the background cover for
Yeah.
it? Oh, cool.
That's
Super
what it
cool.
is. And then you just click.
I love it.
Says you're live. That's nice. Looks good.
Thank you. My design guy did that.
Oh, really? It's pretty.
He's great.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. I'll meet this on my phone.
Cool. Yeah. Well, this is exciting. I'm just going to go here to YouTube and actually see if I can. I wonder if I can monitor my own broadcast.
You should be able to.
From
Your YouTube profile?
my channel. Oh, well, okay. I see that I'm live from there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There we go. Well, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
The audio's coming through there.
Cool. Yeah.
Definitely some latency
Oh, yeah, on your computer.
issues.
It's going to be late. There's going to be some.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right, cool. Well, this is exciting. I was first time doing this, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. We are getting set up. This is I am Caelin Kompass. This is Tyler Rayl. And this is our first time streaming on YouTube. So we're bringing it to you here Friday night.
Hey, thanks for the follow. Thanks for watching us here on YouTube Live.
This definitely looks weird because my chair is so much higher than yours.
No, not really. I mean, it just looks like I'm fucking laying down. I mean,
It looks. I lowered mine a little.
I'm just
more,
like
but
this.
It definitely looks a little on the.
I look like I'm sitting in a
strange.
beanbag. It's all right. I mean, it don't matter. It's cool.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's,
Yeah, a little-
you know, we're just we're getting dialed in.
Yeah, a little Pinky Floyd shirt that I have
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't want something too fitting, you know. I got some buff guy over here that I don't want to really look a chunk with.
Yeah, exactly.
How was your week, man?
Man, it was good. Happy 4th of July.
Yeah, happy 4th of July, everybody.
It was nice. Sorry, I'm kind of trying to monitor us for the first minute or two to just kind of see how things are looking. Man, the 4th was good. It didn't feel like the 4th of July as much this year.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It kind of just felt like another day in the week.
Yeah, and then so I had mixed feelings because, you know, it got to the 4th and I was like, oh, I want to make some burgers and hot dogs. And then I was like, well, I wonder if any place is open.
Were there?
And then both Whole Foods and Central Market were completely open.
Oh, really?
Like normal hours, not even like it was a holiday.
That's weird.
And it was kind of funny because I had gone there and it was on something like Mother's Day and they were closed. or like it was something trivial.
Independence Day, we're going to stay open. We got to get these people some burgers and hamburgers and turkey burgers.
Yeah. and I had such mixed feelings about it because one part of me was like, well, I'm glad they're open. But then the other part was like,
Why are they open?
why are they open on this like this should be a bigger holiday
It should.
than some of those other ones.
Oh, for sure.
And yet it was like, hey, nothing's going on. And then I was kind of like, okay, that feels not great.
Yeah, I didn't really do anything for the 4th myself. I was invited to go to watch some fireworks. Man, when I was a kid, my dad and we grew up pretty kind of. We didn't really. I wouldn't say. I don't want to use the word poor, but we were very middle class, lower middle class. I'll say that. And my dad, he was a very frugal guy. Happy 4th to you as well. We got a life coach in here.
Oh.
But yeah, it was an interesting 4th of July. I'm not a big firework person anymore. The reason I kind of don't like him so much anymore, it's not that I guess I don't like him. My dad would have us do fireworks as a family. My dad would spend $1,000 on fireworks every year. That was a lot for us growing up. That was like a lot of money.
Yep.
And it was like one of his favorite holidays. And it was so many fireworks that we would shoot off. It would be way past midnight as kids, and we just got tired of doing it. And it was like, it was almost like I have PTSD from all these fireworks. Because my dad was like, all right, we got like 50 artillery shells left. You got to make sure you shoot these off, Tyler. Dude, after like 10, you're kind of like, all right, man, this is kind of a lot of work.
Right.
And then later on, we ended up buying those box things that, the like pre-built ones that would just shoot them off. And it was great, man. I love the 4th of July. I usually go home to my family. My family's in Kansas, and they would usually have a fireworks thing. But I was there the week before, and yeah, so didn't really work out in time. So I was kind of a lazy piece of crap, man.
Well, I don't think you're a lazy piece of crap.
Well,
but
I chose to.
But, I mean, so you chose to do some different things than you normally would.
Fair.
Yeah. For those out there, I owned a fireworks stand for 2 summers.
No way! I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
you did
in college. Yeah. So,
how was that?
Well, each year afterwards, I had several $1,000s. Say several thousand. We're talking like wholesale.
Yeah.
A lot of fire. We're talking like a whole big trailer full of fireworks. So it was fun, and
dude, I bet you that's super dangerous to be just kind of toting around if you don't know what you're doing.
I mean, whatever.
Fair, dude. Fair.
I mean, it was Arkansas. People. It's so interesting these days because I speak to people and they're like, "Whoa, you should have a permit or you should have this," and it's like, dude, we didn't have any of that. Like we were like, I was driving trucks around the town at like 10 years old.
Really? Dude.
I mean, not like all the time, but
right.
But you're trying to do stuff, and
sure,
it turns out that people can be more capable than you think, and especially kids, and but yeah, I mean, so whatever, like we're shooting stuff off, and I mean,
what kind of fireworks stands did you have? Did you have like one of those tents? One of those big ass tents?
Yeah. So one year I had one of the outdoor tents that was like that, and then I decided I didn't want to do that one, and so the next year I got.
I've never known this.
Yeah. So the next year I went for an indoor. There was a shopping center that had one of its places empty, and they didn't have a tenant for a few months, and so I got them to lease it to me
indoors.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
So
that's crazy.
So it was really nice because where I was at, I was in Greenbrier, Arkansas, and there's this guy. He had Mad Max fireworks, and he was like established. He was like a former state trooper, from right up the road. Everybody knew him. Everybody was like crazy loyal. Like, we're buying from Mad Max.
Sure.
And but it turns out that it really
his
helped
fireworks
to be able
sucked.
to shot. No, I mean,
his shit don't go boom, baby.
Yeah. No, dude.
His shit just crackles. Our stuff pops.
Yeah.
Get out of Mad Max and come on down.
Exactly.
What was your stand's name?
Dude, well, I was just like fireworks.
You're kidding me, man. Oh
no,
dude.
so it was it was Goods Fireworks.
Fair.
So for the people on the stream, this is a longer conversation, but I legally changed my name in 2020. So my last name was Good, and so
I knew
just
that.
Used that. Yeah, you knew that.
Well, that'd be weird.
Which is
dude.
why I was
known this guy for 7 years. I didn't even know his last name. Well, a funny story. Caelin didn't know how to spell my last name until
this is true.
Until a coaching event we went to. Right? Is that right?
No, it was.
Oh no! It was my birthday or Christmas. He got me this.
I got you a knife.
Yeah, he got me a cool knife. He got me like a badass knife, like a really nice knife. And I like knives and stuff like that. And Caelin gets me a knife, and he's like, dude, I got something special for you. It's not a big deal. I'm like, man, I didn't get you anything. And no, don't worry about it. And I come to meet him with it. And, it's like 5 months past like Christmas or something like that. I don't even know. 'Cause just our schedules and everything were so different. And he gives me this knife, and he's like, dude, look at it. And I open it up and says, cutting through BS since my birth year. I'm like, that's awesome. He's like, flip it over. And then it has my name engraved on it, but it's my last name spelled wrong.
It's the way I had your last name spelled for the last however
7 years.
And I feel like I clarified it with you at once before, and you were like, no, Ryal. And I'm like, that's a weird name to spell, like a weird way to spell Rayl.
That must have been when I was drinking, man. Had to have been.
I think you were pulling my leg because I think there was like something that I bought a ticket for, and I was like, here's how you spell your name. And you're like, yeah, man, that's it.
No way. I must have been messing with you or something.
Yeah, because I think the conference we went to, I might have had to like put your name down or whatever else, and I, every time it's like, this is how you spell it.
I mean, we've done. Have we ever gone on?
Sorry, what I'm messing around here with is on YouTube. I should be able to actually interact in the comments from here.
Oh yeah, you should be able to. Yeah.
And you said there was somebody there, and so I'm like,
Creator life coach.
I'm trying to figure out how to get the comments to pop up, because when I initially tried to do it, they did, and I couldn't get it to work. So
what's your favorite 4th of July food? Is what Creator coach wants to know. Sorry to wait so long to respond, man. Or woman.
What's yours?
Well, 4th of July food, man. I just don't think you get away from hamburgers, man. Like hamburgers, hot dogs.
Dude, a good hamburger.
I think a good hamburger on a 4th of July, sweating it, outside in some humid, mucky weather. It's hard to beat that, man. Creator Life Coach, what's your favorite 4th of July food? I'd love to know. Hamburger and Doritos. I'll have to combine those two. That's probably a fan favorite of mine. I mean, I'm not crazy about the ingredients of Doritos, but Doritos are Doritos.
All right, this is a longer thing. I just looked it up and
to respond.
No, for me to do this, so I'm gonna just quit messing around with the comments idea. You're gonna have to manage the comments from there, and
sure.
And next time we stream, I'll have it under control.
I'd like to know, Creator, if you get a moment, we'd like to hear your favorite food. But in the meantime, Caelin, what is your favorite 4th of July food?
I don't know if I have a favorite food. I mean, it's funny because we oftentimes do things that just remind us of home, and that's oftentimes of our childhood.
Sure.
And it's interesting. I have this thought all the time because we've had multiple traditions in my family, and it's like somebody comes in and somebody does another thing, and we do it 1 year, and then we do it for 2 years. And then after we do it for 2 years, now it's tradition. And it's like, oh, it's family tradition, and we can't mess with this, and it's like unquestionable. And then I think back to like traditions historically and as a culture, it's like we do things sort of traditionally because we did it for 2 years previous, and it's just really interesting. But to go to a food, man, a good hot dog, a good hamburger, man, I saw something on Twitter earlier today.
Okay.
And it talked about how there's I think potassium bromate is what it is. And it's like known to cause cancer and whatever else. And, like last time I was down at Central Market, like I was looking at getting some of the, the artisan homemade bread, supposedly.
Yeah.
Dude, and it has 50 ingredients long. And it's like, of course it has this stuff in there, and it's toxic, and it's, illegal in Europe.
Which is insane.
Dude, it's so insane. And so I'm not trying to bounce around the question because to anybody out there watching, absolutely, like a good hamburger with a good bun made up like that, dude, you just can't beat it.
Sure.
But I think people are missing the fact that food is so much different now than it was 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, real quick, Creator Life Coach's favorite food is jalapenos, cream cheese, and bacon.
That
jalapeno poppers,
delicious. Dude, jalapeno poppers. You can't beat them.
You can't beat them, dude. I will say that. I probably didn't have jalapeno poppers till I was like in my mid-20s.
What?
Dude, I didn't touch sushi till I was in my mid-20s.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, maybe early 20s, maybe like 22, 23.
Dude.
Jalapeno poppers, banging, dude. Great.
I'm going to have to make you some jalapeno poppers, and I have this stuff called Captain Rodney's. I had a friend.
Seasoning?
It's like a Jamaican style syrup, and it has a lot of sugar in it, but dude.
Oh, dude, you've had me try this before.
I have had you try it, haven't I?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a Bond that turned me onto it. Dude, she makes this cheese dip, and it is like, whoo.
Yeah, you said you have to import it from, it's imported from Jamaica or something, right?
I think so.
Yeah, you said it's not easy to get.
Yeah. But
I think I've had that before.
Yeah.
I can't really remember. Actually, you know what?
I'll have to make
I don't know if I've ever had it. No, did you have some imported honey one time or something? It must have been the syrup, maybe.
I'm sure I've probably had all sorts of stuff.
This dude's got all kinds of crazy stuff that I've never had. I came over here one time, Creator Life Coach. I came over one time, and this guy's like, hey, man, I want you to try this mozzarella cheese. And I'm like, okay, sure, man. It's just mozzarella cheese. He's like, no. It's really good mozzarella cheese. And I'm going to give you this salt, and we're going to put, what was that on it?
The salt is
No, the Celtic salt. But
the Celtic
But
salt.
what was the other spread stuff? What was that?
Was that a fig jam?
That was a fig jam.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, Life Coach, if you like jalapeno poppers,
And some really good olive oil.
dude, oh yeah, I was going to town on that. Oh my gosh. And then the sad thing is, Life Coach, I ended up trying to imitate this for about probably 3 weeks, and I let myself down every time.
You just couldn't get it, could you?
No, man, I wasn't going to spend $40 on a bottle of olive oil.
It turns out that it does matter, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. No, it makes a difference. I will say that. It makes a difference. That was pretty great.
So I had 2 things that we made a note
What you
for
got?
us to talk about tonight.
Sure. Yeah. Only
So-
2?
Well, just from our conversation the other
sure,
night. I mean,
sure.
I
We got plenty of stuff to talk about.
guys,
always.
if we keep doing this stream thing and whatever else, we will show up with more dedicated notes, ideas, things to talk about. But
yeah.
for right now, we were just like, you know what? Let's just chop it up. Let's have a good time. I think it's important to get comfortable. And like this conversation, one of the things that I was thinking about, because I sort of reviewed the footage from the other one, is to speak slower and to catch myself. I almost need somebody here watching and to give like a little, dog
Slow down.
shock collar. Well, like a little shock collar on my wrist, because see, I just said, and trying to take away those verbal tics. So you're like, and then, but just go real time, work on that.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
guarantee
good.
you would stop super fast.
Yeah, and I guarantee you a lot of people would watch that. Creator Life Coach said that they like mozzarella too, and it sounds pretty good. We'll have to. I wish we had everything so we could kind of show Creator Life Coach what we had. Dude, it was so good. But no, I think Creator, would you like to see Caelin get shocked with a shock collar? Dude, I wonder if they would like. I wonder if you were streaming that and they would like say that's abuse. For real. If you think about it.
They probably would. It'd probably get banned.
Yeah,
have to go to Rumble for that one.
It'd probably just kick you in the balls or something, Well, don't say that. But
Yeah.
I mean, just like Rochambeau you, like if you say something.
Well, I mean, you need something real time to clean up those verbal tics, to clean
sure.
up that sort of thing for presentation. Like I just said, and it's one of those things that if you just slow down, you don't have to say anything. But we're so used to filling that silence.
And silence is really strong too in speaking engagements. If you have those pauses and you say, "Hey, I want to tell you a story."
Yep.
The story's about,
Yep.
and those things are very key. I think there's definitely an art to it. It takes time. It takes practice. We might have lost Creator Life Coach in the chat. I think it's just me watching it.
Oh well, that's okay.
Unfortunate. That's okay. Well, we love having people in here. Whoever we get in here, we'll always try to have a good time with you. But yeah, man, I think that. Oh, but oh god, it's on my balls. Jeez, oh wait. So they're shocking the shit out of you. I'm gonna choke on my dip. No, what I was gonna say is it just practice, and you're authentic though.
Yep.
And I agree. Speaking fast, you have a lot of knowledge. You're probably one of the most brilliant people I've ever encountered.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm gonna do that all night now.
It's a great reminder. It's so funny too.
It is funny, but oh damn! Oh, Creator's still in here watching me shock my nuts. Oh. I gotta spit this thing out, or I'm gonna freaking choke on this.
What do you have there?
It's my little nicotine thing.
Oh, I got you.
It's blocked out because we're so famous. We can't be posting stuff without people paying for it.
Yeah.
So, no, I think it just comes with practice. I mean, at the same time, it's just authentic. I mean, you're gonna make speaking errors, and I think that's part of being a person. Dude, I'm gonna get shocked a lot tonight. I feel like I'm gonna be shocking.
Yeah,
we got you, Creator. Thanks for staying in here and holding on tight and watching these shockings going on.
Yeah.
Well, so we talked about 4th of July. Did you do anything else this week? I mean, I know you did other things, but any other hot topics you want to cover real quick? Dude, I freaking just totally stole your stuff. You said we had something to talk about. I totally forgot what you even said what our topic was.
Well, I didn't introduce the topic yet.
Oh, crap. I'm not really paying attention. I'm just sitting here just like bullshitting. I mean,
Just getting nut shocked.
bull crapping.
Nut shocked.
Yeah, dude. Seriously.
No, man, I think it's good. I think, comedy, stuff like that. I've been watching more comedies in an attempt to actually become more humorous myself. I'm such a serious person normally.
Last time, a creator. Oh, what is this? Oh, I thought those were hamburgers. Dude, look at this. From where I'm sitting at, creator, those look like little hamburgers. It's actually a face smiling and laughing. I'm sitting there looking at like little hamburgers. But damn. So,
are you hungry?
Not
Thinking
yet.
about some burgers?
No, not yet. I'm getting shocked over here, man. So,
Dude, we need to create a show, Nut Shocked.
yeah, if you say something
like
wrong,
brand and package it. Like,
oh, dude, I bet you that would be crazy. You can't say a certain word. We couldn't say dude or something like that, or something. I don't know, dude. I'm kind of scared.
The whole show is we introduce something and then try to get somebody to say it in the process of the show.
Oh, for sure.
Dum dum dum.
Yeah, little midgets or something, or little people. Sorry, have little people with us, and they get to push the buttons to giant us. And they're just sitting around like mini me or something or whatever. But one thing,
Seriously, our midget, is that actually?
It's kind of offensive.
Is it?
Yeah, it's kind of a derogatory term. From what I've been told, I'm
this
6
is new
foot.
to me.
I'm 6'6", so
God, you're a fucking giant.
well,
I
yeah.
guess that's offensive, isn't it?
I really do find that offensive. Shock yourself. You better shock yourself. That's offensive. I'm pushing it. No, the thing is I supposedly, I don't know if that's offensive or not, but I guess it is.
Tyler, I deeply apologize for the deep
I don't accept it.
pain
Not accepted.
that I have caused you.
You didn't shock
I
yourself.
have clearly caused you a deep pain and hurt.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't accept the apology. I mean, I appreciate the apology, but I'll take it, I guess. No, not really. But anyways, so yeah, that term I guess is kind of offensive. From what I've seen, I don't know. But anyways, enough talking about little people.
No, I mean, this is fascinating to me because we have shock right there.
Dude, you got to make it crazy. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It's fascinating to me because we have so many people that are trying to change language in real time. And
Yeah, for sure.
all right, I understand. We could use certain upgrades. Languages need to be alive. They need to change. At the same time, I think it's also a very, very dangerous line that you go down when you start changing certain languages and the meanings of things. And
Yeah, for sure.
it's Jordan Peterson talks about this, and he's just so spot on.
I haven't actually heard that before.
How dangerous. Well, I mean, think about it.
Just modifying your speech to fit the time? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's not just modifying.
People aren't dropping the N-word, man. I mean, so...
Well, okay. There's one thing to modify your speech, and we could go down that rabbit hole, and that's probably not something we want to do on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
But certainly changing definitions of words, making things taboo to where certain people can't talk about them.
Okay.
Creating terms like misinformation or disinformation, super dangerous.
Okay.
Creating prohibitions around speech, while it's how to say this. While it seems to make sense on the surface, because you want to be sensitive, you want to take care of people, you don't want to offend people, it invariably leads to a sense of self-censorship and leads to a slow erosion of a freedom of speech, which results in a freedom of thought, which results in...
Then you kind of narrow yourself down this path, and then you're getting down a rabbit hole of like, I got to be careful if I say this. Well, now I've modified my speech to say that my speech to say this. Now I can't say this. That makes sense. I get it. Creator said something. He said, "What about people with a Napoleon complex?" We knew a guy. at the club.
Which guy had the Napoleon complex?
Lance.
Oh yeah, he totally did. Yeah,
He was a great looking guy, but he was short, and he just like he
was insecure about everything.
so insecure. And we've met some people with some Napoleon complexes. Damn it. I'm doing that all night, dude. I'm doing that all night. It's going to be so annoying. You're going to be like, geez.
So that can actually segue into the next thing.
Sure.
When speaking about Napoleon complexes, what's interesting is we've had all these terms introduced to us, and now almost invariably people use them harmfully. Toxic. Right?
Yeah.
Narcissistic. I know somebody who's narcissistic. I come from a dysfunctional family.
I get gaslighted.
It's like, what do these things mean half the time?
That's true.
And
they have a meaning, but I see what you're saying, though. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, so there's this great book called Cracked by James Davies, and he goes into sort of the history of the whole psychiatric field in general. And then the rise of the DSM, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual. And originally, there were certain things that people knew of. Obviously, we've had people with mental sort of disorders throughout history. But then this came about, and he does a great job. I'll probably butcher some of this, but he does a great job of outlining how the field of psychiatry sort of maybe weaseled its way into convincing the rest of medicine that it's just as objective, just as scientifically based as the rest of medicine. And so they've done this.
It's speculative, though, isn't it?
Well, exactly. Because if you go into a doctor with a broken bone,
they can diagnose you and say, hey, you have a broken bone.
It's pretty apparent.
But I'm speculating that you have a mental disorder.
Right. And so what's interesting is
just walking around my pants down. I'm normal. And they're going to watch this and be like, this guy's fucking shocking himself out of nowhere. Just sitting there.
Yeah.
This guy just gets
Dude, we're going to have to title this episode Nut Shocked. Nut Shocked with Tyler Rayl and Caelin Kompass.
I don't even like my last name. I want to change my shit too.
Yeah.
Tom Butts.
Getting railed with the real.
That's what I used to say. I'm a newfound Christian man. I got to be careful with my language. I'm going to have to probably pray after some of this stuff. But yeah. I wouldn't. I used to say that all the time. Yeah. I used to be a pretty dirty dog. I was a lot more handsome, by the way, creator life coach. Caelin's in great shape. I was never in that good a shape. I was in good shape. Dude, you've always been a lot bigger than me, though. Like muscularity wise, I don't think I was
proportionately.
Well,
maybe.
I have longer bicep tendons and some other stuff too.
Well, you have bigger arms though. We had that contest over at your house.
Yeah,
and your arms are bigger than mine. It's like,
I still don't think you measured it right. I mean, whatever.
We can do it again.
Nah, man, I'm not. I don't have a pump on right now. TRT's a little low.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so, anyways,
damn it.
To go back to that conversation of what we're talking about things being really you have to be really careful. You have to be really careful with language and what you accept as true or not true. And a lot of people have forgotten this. And so part of what you see with the whole psychiatry industry, and then people are walking around being like, oh, well, now I've got this disorder or that disorder.
You'd be surprised on how many women think they have something. Or have been told they have something.
Well, it's first of all, the barrier of going and getting a diagnosis is so low. And it's so easy to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if all you have to do is go and show up and talk to them and like you'll get a diagnosis of something.
Yeah, usually you have to have really bad diarrhea if you got like explosive diarrhea or something, and then you're like, dude, I'm like crapping all over the place.
You can get an objective diagnosis off of stuff.
But having diarrhea. I mean, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's also it's all Yeah,
I'm an idiot, man. Caelin told me to be a little bit more funny this time. I'm gonna be a dick.
I love it. Be a dick. Yeah, be funny.
No, it's okay. I told Caelin. So creator, hear me out. Hold on. He did. Creator coach definitely does agree with the language. What you're saying about your languages and stuff like that, and your choices on being careful with that. Hold on. Let me read what you got here, creator coach. two of the biggest dudes I've ever seen. No way, man. No way. I'm not that big. He said we're two of the biggest people, or he or she. Creator life coach. I'm just gonna call you life coach from now on, okay, Creator? That's a little long word. Thank goodness your name's not like A B C D E F G H I J K L M N P D X Y Z. Like I had to say that every time. But so
like that one handle that you had on TikTok.
Oh yeah. I can't say that because then
Yeah,
I was a ghost.
People will know.
I was a ghost count for a little bit, but damn it! Ah! Gotta shot myself. What the hell were we talking about? I totally forgot my train of thought.
We were talking about
diarrhea.
We were talking about how dangerous it is, actually, because all of so many people now. It's almost as if you don't have a diagnosis, then you're not in the cool camp.
Like, what's wrong with you? What's going on with you? It's almost like it's
a race to the bottom.
Yeah,
a race to who can be the most
point.
disenchanted
Say
or the
that
most
again?
disenfranchised. A race to the bottom.
Wow.
It's like,
and I think I've heard of that. I know that phrase is kind of used a little bit. Who says that?
I think Jordan Peterson.
Jordan B. Peterson does. Yeah, it's a race to the bottom.
Yeah, because it's like, oh man, Tyler, you're like, oh, I got in a car crash today, and somebody else is like, oh, you think your life is bad? Well, I got in a car wreck, and my kid fell and broke their arm, and I got fired from my job,
and diarrhea.
Yeah, and diarrhea.
I gotta stop saying that. It's disgusting. I gotta stop saying that. It's not funny anymore.
Yeah, so it's just this whole dangerous thing that we go down, and
That's true.
And people don't think about it.
Misery loves company, wouldn't you think? I mean, I
Yep.
definitely agree with what you're saying on that because it feels like a lot of people go down that path. And what are you doing?
Oh no.
Oh, I thought you were turning something on. I feel a lot of people go down that path. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, they go down that path, and it's not obvious to me how to pull people out of it, because anybody who's actually down that path, when somebody in their direct social circle brings it up to them, they invariably push back. They're like, well, you just don't care about my mental health, or you just don't care about this.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't even like using the word mental health or the term. I don't like using it, because it's like I don't even know what that means at this point.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't. Like, I would like to think that I do. And I'm not trying to deny that people have mental disorders.
It's very
Clearly
real.
People do. It's also not obvious to me saying, well, I just have a mental disorder and I can't do anything about it, and I'm always stuck this way.
I got ADHD or something.
Is so disempowering. It's so disempowering. And that's a major problem that I have with some of these people out there, because they're like, oh, you're just fine how you are. And it's like, really? Because people told me I was just fine how I was 5 years ago. And I'm like, dude, I'm drinking like a liter of vodka per night. I'm not fine.
Yeah.
Don't tell me I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm not being the person that I can.
I think that's very true, because I remember being around each other, and I think at that time we were kind of gravitating. Now, I'm not speaking for you. Correct me if I'm wrong. At that time, we were both kind of on a downward spiral, and I think we've always been very good friends and very driven individuals, and we just clicked like the first day that we met each other. And it was like, you even told me one time, you're like, bro, I needed to call you out on your shit sometimes. There was times that I knew you were messing up. Once you started getting yourself straight, I was going down the wrong path, and you were like, man, I really can't hang out with you, because the stuff you're doing is, I don't want to be a part of that. Like I like, you're toxic to be around. And I know I shouldn't use that phrase, but I was not a very good person to be around at that time. I was a wild dude. I mean, the Creator, you think I'm a big guy? Imagine this drunk bastard walking around the bar.
And you can fight.
Oh, big time. Big time.
The difference is you're not one of those big dudes.
I'm not sitting here hitting you a haymaker.
You're one of those big dudes who's like, dude, you're fast.
I'll get you so close. What I used to do to people when I'd fight people, they'd always think I want to play really far apart from them, and I just that's what my boxing coach taught me. He was like, "Nah, I want to teach you how to fight really close and knock someone out with this." And I was like, "Okay." So he just had me working corners every day, just super close quarter stuff, and how to get really close to somebody, because they're like, "Dude, you can fight long distance." But for you, I want you to know on how to fight close quarters, because that's what your weakness is going to be until I teach you how to fight there. And that was something I really wanted to be good at. So,
yeah, well,
Tom did a good job.
Yeah, he did a good job. But there was a point where, and I think plenty of people get there, where, it went overboard to the point
Yeah.
where it was like, we need to just crank that thing down so it doesn't move.
Oh, I like it like this.
Where you have to step up. And I sort of made a post on it earlier where it's like cutting people off. It is your duty. Listen to me here. Anybody out there, if you're a man or a woman, really, but if you are, and you know your life is not where you want it to be, if you know that you are not being the person that you could be, it is your duty to cut people off that are prohibiting you from going where you want. And that's not to not take responsibility personally, because I've seen tons of people who are like, oh, I need to cut this person off because they're doing whatever. No, that's not what I'm saying. But people that have behaviors that you should not be hanging around.
1,000%. 100% agree.
And there is nothing wrong with you cutting them off. There is nothing wrong with you taking responsibility for your life. There is nothing wrong with you objectively saying, I want to live a higher quality of life, and I don't want to hang around with people that their behavior currently exhibits degeneracy. That doesn't mean that they are degenerates. There's a big difference between behavior and who somebody is. Because look, my behavior 5 years ago, one way. I was acting like a degenerate. Tyler's behavior.
Absolutely.
He was acting that way. But here's the thing. People are not their behavior. But until they decide to step up and change that behavior, until they decide to step up and take a stand for something and to set some standards in their life, it is your duty to take responsibility and cut those people off.
I think there was a time, I'll even kind of segue off of that. There was a time that I was like, I emailed you or texted you, and you were like, dude, what the hell happened? Damn, I'm having a cough too. But there was a time that I was like, hey man, nothing personal. We were around a group of guys that just kind of felt like it brought me down. Yep. And I just had to cut myself off from like everything from my past life to fix myself.
Yep.
And that was something that took me about a year, and we stayed in touch through emails, and we emailed. Dude, that was like one of the biggest parts of my transition and who I was.
Yeah, that was like a whole
I'm a
15-month period.
I'm a whole different person.
Yep.
I would greatly assume so. And I had to have a big freaking mess up during that, and had a drinking episode. I'm almost coming up on 2 years sober now.
Dude, that's
from
awesome.
alcohol. Now, drugs, it's been like 5 years, something
Right.
like that, 4 or 5 years. I don't have a time clock on that, but I do have a time clock. It's like October would be my 2 year mark.
Dude, that's awesome.
Dude, I'm telling you, people talk about having good times drinking. I had problem drinking. I mean, I wasn't drinking every weekend,
Yep.
but when I drank, I drank.
Yep.
I mean, I drank. If I want to be a coach, I'm going to be a coach. If I'm going to drink, I'm going to drink. I wasn't drinking to have fun. I was drinking to get drunk. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
No, and that's one of those things, and I think people learn different ways, and you have to sometimes set boundaries.
We got a couple good questions from Career to Life Coach. Sure. You mind? First question is, what are strategies for distancing myself from people who are not supportive of my goals? Some strategies you could give them for distancing their self from people who are not supportive of their goals. It's a good question.
Well, first of all, what I would say is that you need to understand and identify that your goals are really your goals. And what I mean by that is so many people get caught up in this sort of societal cultural thing, and they set goals based off of everybody else. And then they haven't really gotten to their core values. They haven't really gotten to the goals that are meaningful to them. They're just like, let me chase this next carrot. And so I think the first step is to really get a lot of clarity on your goals, on what you want, on I don't really like the concept of your authentic self. I think it's better positioned for who you could be and who you want to be. And I think you let those goals drive it, and also understand within the context of setting goals that a lot of people set goals when they don't have enough information. They optimize prematurely. And so for instance, I went and got a degree in accounting because I had no idea what else to do. But if I had literally made it my job to explore a lot of the alternative career paths and asked questions of like, well, what are the successful people look like in those things? Because I always looked at, well, you know, what's your maybe local trainer down the road? Like, what's his life look like? And I never should have, that's not even a good question, because I, out of the bat, should have been asking, what does the top 1% look like?
Yeah.
Because I'm a top 1% person. And if you're not that person, well, then ask the question of what the local trainer down the road or whatever it is, what their life looks like. But the chances are, if you want to be in the top 1%, if you want to have big goals, if you want to accomplish things, then you need to start looking at what those things are, and then also look at what it's going to take to get there. Like,
Absolutely.
what was their run up? And chances are you can do it in a fraction of the time. But to go back to then separating yourself from people who aren't supporting your goals, the first thing is to make sure that you are all in on your goals. Because one of the biggest things I see with people do is that they pick a goal, but the goals are transient. You know, so
What do you mean by transient?
You know,
Slow it down a little bit. You're speaking really fast.
Sorry.
I want him to be. I want creator to be able to follow you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I've
So
talked to you for a long time.
yeah. So when it comes to transient, people will pick a goal this week of like, I want to be a YouTube star. The next week they're like, oh, this new Threads app came out, and they're like, well, now I'm going to get to Threads, and then they're like, oh, well, you know, maybe I met this person this week, and I think I'm going to go into this thing, and so they're bouncing around. They don't have clear goals that they're going to commit to for a 5 to 10 year period. And so the goals are transient. And so if you cut people off prematurely off of a transient goal, then it's okay. It gets hot.
Okay.
Then, you know, like, how would you feel if you cut your family off and then a month later you're like, well, that was just a, you know, that was just a spell, you know, that was a temporary thing. Now I want to be clear. Sometimes you got to cut your family off for a while.
Sometimes you do.
I've stopped talking to my dad multiple times for months on end because I just couldn't have that relationship. I couldn't handle what was going on there, and I didn't have appropriate separation and an ability to handle myself appropriately. And so I had to put distance there. And so the way to do that is to understand and make sure that, first of all, you're in it for the long haul. So don't, you know, like I'm a big believer in making sure that you don't optimize prematurely. But once you're really set on something, then a lot of times it's really just having to make a decision. And, you know, I have this thing, decide, act, commit, because really what you have to do is you have to recommit to something every single day. And this is the thing that most people don't talk about when it comes to personal development is they're like, oh, I'm going to go on this personal development journey. And you cut a friend off. You cut, and I say friend, like you just cut somebody off.
I don't even think you need to cut someone off. I didn't even cut you off. I just had to have time to find myself.
Right.
And there's a difference. I think there's no point in burning a bridge unless you know, like, okay, I'll give you an example. Me and you. When I was going out, you're like, hey, man, I can't really go out with you because you're going to drink and go spend thousands of dollars at a strip club.
Yep.
Legitimately, almost every weekend for a year.
Yep.
Every weekend. I would go to strip clubs and party and be this big balling dude and go there and spend thousands of dollars. No bullshit, thousands of dollars. And it was, I'm not joking, this isn't like, oh, whatever. I would get my card. I would go to this place called DG's in Dallas. It was a pretty gangster little club. I'd go there, give them my card. They charge me 10%, charge my card. I'd get 1,000 ones, charge me $1,100. Swipe it, give me a bag of ones. And I would do that probably 2 or 3 times in a night. And I would do that all the time. And there was a time that you were like, hey, I can't do that. Like, that's not what I'm about. I mean, it was fun. It was cool in that time frame. It was cool during that. The next day I always felt like crap. So I think the one thing is making sure you know what your goal is. Be clear on your goal. Don't be too premature to cut people off. You'll probably be able to sum this up better, but this is kind of what I'm looking at too. Be careful on who you cut off too soon, because guess what? There might be a time you need them. If they have, you know, we're not trying to use this language, but toxic behavior or something that's pulling you back, like you're drinking or doing drugs with these people, and you know that's not what you're supposed to be doing, because it's pretty easy to know what you should and shouldn't be doing. There's a difference between people that are saying like, oh man, you'll never make it. I mean, is it really worth cutting those people off unless they're like in your face, like saying, "Hey, dude, you need to give this up"? Then I think that's kind of the time where you're like, "Bro, there's no benefit to this relationship." But if they're kind of just coming at you and like, "Hey, man, you want to go drinking or whatever," they might be. And I think someone else categorizes this as well. There's certain friends that fall in certain categories. There's a friends that you can go hiking with or biking with, and those friends fall in that category. That's where they stay. Friends that you go working out with, those are working out friends. There's friends you go drinking with. Those are the friends you drink with. There's friends that you go to, me, I go to church, and I'm very faithful. There's people that I go to church with. Do I associate with them outside church? Yeah, sometimes, but most of the time it's in a religious atmosphere. Those are the kind of categories. You're going to have a few people, and Caelin is one of my very few people that I could fit in my hand and go, this person, and this person, I know I can lean on for a lot of things. I know I can come to you and be like, hey man, this is what I'm struggling with. I think you have to have a core group, and then you can have other friends that kind of fill those voids or those things that you're doing or events or whatever. I don't know. Spin on that. What do you think?
I would agree with all of that. I would say,
where's the butt?
Well, I would say
big fat butt.
And
okay.
Not a butt. And
okay.
and
I like it.
That when it comes to, first of all, if you need to fully cut somebody off or if you just need to create some separation. And there are people legitimately that you need to fully cut off. And then there are other people that maybe you talk to out of convenience because you're bored.
That's true.
Maybe you engage with when in truth you could just dial that relationship back to be like, yeah, we're going to have a 30-minute conversation on Sundays and you're going to make time for that. And it's going to happen on Sundays. And then
there's benefit to that too.
Of course, you want to call them through the week. You want to chop it up and talk about nothing. You're bored. That has less to do with them.
That's huge. That's huge. What you're talking about crap, bullshit, and just sitting there like
it has less to do with
Yes.
them than it does with you. It's not. If you want to ask people to support your goals, here's the thing. When people see that you're serious about your goals and they call up and they want to shoot the shit, and you are like, hey, I can't talk right now. I'm busy working on this. And then you do that for several months and you create that sort of separation, people start paying attention. Yeah. They're like, you're really crazy about this, aren't you? Like, this really matters to you.
Well, shit, it matters to me.
And then when people are like, wow, this person's not giving up on this. They really care about it. Then they either are going to get on board where they say, hey, what are you working on with this or not? Or you're going to be so obsessed with your goal that they're going to call and you're going to be like, dude, I don't have the same, like, we don't have shared values. We're like, we don't want to talk about the same things. Like, I'm obsessed with internet marketing and, trying to figure out how to get my coaching business to where it like really, launches in a big way.
Yeah.
And I'm obsessed with these things.
Yeah.
And so when people want to have a conversation that deviates too far from there, or they just want to hang out, or they just want to, sort of just go in different paths. I'm like, this is not.
What do you mean different paths? Just kind of like conversation wise or life choice wise. And creator, we really appreciate that. He said that's some wisdom. Love it. Decide, act, and commit. Those are some pretty good things. So I'm glad you touched on those topics for me.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So kind of to reiterate on what you're talking about, when they're going on different paths, what would you mean, Caelin? When you're saying they're going to, like, the conversation's going in a different path, or are you saying like their life choices are in a different path? I guess it could touch both, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, primarily we all have 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
And you see people that are ultra successful who almost seem to bend time. They almost seem to do these things. But here's how they do it. They don't sit around and have small conversations about small things that
What's the weather? Did you catch the game on Friday? That's the kind of stuff that you can filter that out. Once you grow yourself personal development wise, I think you can pick up on that better, and you'll know when you're having meaningless conversations and just filler conversations.
Well, sometimes those are meaningful for people.
You think?
We have to be clear about that. For a lot of people, they aren't nearly as goal driven.
That's fair.
So it's literally like, hey, I'm just trying to talk to this person because I just want to have a relationship with them. And so many people are so desperate for relationships that here's the funny thing. They have relationships that they're not truly valued in because all they want is a relationship. They're like, I put so much into this relationship. And yet the funny thing is then you have these other people who are really obsessed with things and they do big stuff in life. And then everybody wants to have a relationship with them. Everybody values their time. Everybody, if you think about Elon Musk and you had Elon Musk sitting around, you're like, I want to listen to what this guy says, or if it's Alex Hormozy or if it's Grant Cardone or whoever.
Yeah.
But they're not sitting around having those conversations. But for some people, that's really valuable. For some people, talking about the game on Sunday has nothing to do with the game. It has everything to do with the fact that they just want to have that conversation
Just
with
kind of
you.
form a bond through that.
Yeah, and people form bonds through different ways. And so, I think it depends on what your goals are and what you're after.
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. I was going to tell you this earlier, and we'll answer your question here in a little bit, Creator. I don't know. Are we doing a Q&A right now?
Yeah.
Going to questions? Sure, yeah. We're just kind of farting around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
getting ready to wrap this up here soon.
Yeah, Creator. We'll jump over on Caelin's TikTok, right?
Yep. We're gonna go live on TikTok.
Yeah, we'll go live on TikTok. Hopefully, you can join us there. If you don't have an account, we can wait for you to make a ghost account. It's pretty easy. You just say sign up, make a fake email. It doesn't even ask any questions. It's pretty easy. I just don't know it from experience.
Have you done this before?
I have. Yes.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, hypothetically speaking, me doing this hypothetically.
Yeah.
So, funny enough, I'm at the dentist. I was going to tell you the story, and we'll talk about it on TikTok too a little bit, but it's a funny little story. So I go to this dentist, great experience. First thing I go in there, hadn't been in the dentist in 10 years. Teeth are great, by the way. They're not all jacked up. I got to get a little mouth guard and some other stuff. So I go to the dentist, and talking about casual conversations, I could tell the dentist I was just in this mood that I was like, I feel like I'm going to mess with this guy in a funny way. I'm going to have a good conversation with him. And it starts out, he's showing me my teeth and we're going through the x-rays and stuff. And he starts kind of this casual conversation. So what do you do for a living? I'm in insurance, and I look at him and I go, what do you do for a living? And it broke his train of thought. And he was like dumbfounded that I asked him. And he's like, I'm an actor. And I was like, okay. So now I've kind of broken this already client to, professional to client relationship, and already kind of formed this interesting interaction. And we're kind of sitting there joking around and going along. I don't remember the whole thing. I really wish I would record it because he's like, man, this is a great conversation. And it was very personable. I was taking very much interest in what he was telling me about my teeth and all this other stuff. And, we just kind of cracked some jokes. And I'm like, oh, is that your professional opinion or is that your actor opinion? And just stuff like that. So, and one thing I found, that general conversation, you can kind of twist it a little bit and kind of get a little bit more value about it and start to ask about these other people too. I think people love talking about themselves. That's a huge factor. And
Yep.
I wanted to learn more about his profession, to show me how to check my teeth and like how my teeth set and all this stuff. And it was a really good conversation. It could have started as, what do you do for work? Oh, I do this. Oh, that's great. Got any kids? You married? How much do you weigh? I doubt he'd ask that, but that's a good point. I like that. I think that's great. He does. Creator does have an account. Hopefully, we'll see you on there. We're gonna need some support. Hopefully, he can watch us on there. I think it'd be a good time. We'll have some fun on there too. But we'll get some more people to mess with. But what else you got, Caelin?
Well, I had the.
One more time. We can save it for TikTok too, or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we can save it.
How long we got on here so far?
Oh,
It doesn't tell me, does it? 30 minutes?
we've been recording for 54 minutes.
Wow, already.
Yep.
Wow. Well, what do you think, Caelin? You want to jump over to the other platform?
Let's switch over, and we're gonna have some fun. We're just trying to get used to this recording thing, and yeah.
Well, Creator, if you end up joining us on TikTok, we'd love to see you. Like to interact with you some more. If it's a different name, we get it. If your name is user 1234567, you can just say, hey, it's Creator from YouTube.
Yeah. If you do make a fake account, definitely
Follow?
No. yeah, definitely
Follow, comments, like, and subscribe. Give those W's in the chat.
No, I was just gonna say, if you make a fake account, use the user handle Bullshock.
Oh yeah, that
Nut shocked. Nut shocked. That's the one.
They do have an account. They do have an account. So we're not going to make them modify their account.
So I got to make a fake account now to call it Nut Shocked, because that's the theme of this episode. So
Nut shocked? Yeah, sure.
Nut Shocked.
That was good, man. I like that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
We'll see you guys over on TikTok here in a couple minutes. We're going to get some things changed around, and that's it. We'll get some things changed around, jump over, and get rolling with the rest of the content for the night.
Cool. Sounds good. Peace, everyone.